Coach Sean Miller has joined us here courtside. Coach, congratulations. Great way to start conference play. Sometimes these games that have this big build-up don't always live up to expectations. Tonight it did, obviously, in your team's 6-point victory. As you look at it, what were some of the keys to the victory?
Well, just really staying with it. You know, Arizona State, they deserve a lot of credit. They play very, very hard. They play with a lot of confidence. And, you know, they have that ability to go on these spurts because of their style where, you know, you'd be up 10 or, you know, down 10, whatever, and the game can quickly change in what feels like 3 or 4 possessions. But that's to their credit. And the same thing, their will at the end of the game, their ability to press us, turn us over, hasn't happened a lot. We certainly feel like we need to get better in that area at the end of the game. That was uncharacteristic of us. You've been with us, Brian. We've played against some pressing teams this year, more so than we usually do, and we haven't had a lot of problems. But tonight, maybe it was their quickness, you know, the magnitude of the game. It threw us off just a little bit. But we hung in there, and like we talked about at the end of the game with our team, it was great to see so many guys go from maybe a bad play or a turnover, put it behind them, and then step up and make a good play. But Alonzo and DeAndre were terrific. I mean, Alonzo had 23 points, but his 4 assists and no turnovers really, really stand out. And obviously he went to the line, made big plays at the end. And, you know, DeAndre, you don't see a performance when a player in playing 35 minutes, he scores 23 points and has 19 rebounds. You know, it's so unlike what you normally see that it stays with you, but his dominance was big. And, you know, a lot of other guys made big plays, hung in there. You know, Parker had 6 assists and 1 turnover, and we have to help him a little bit more at the end. You know, I think we put him in some tough positions at the end, maybe where we can allow him to get the ball out of his hands and do some things. But the good news is we can learn from it and learn from it with a win instead of a tough loss.
Talk about your team's defense, in particular in that second half, holding Arizona State to 12 of 37 in the second half, and probably more importantly, 3 of 15 3-point shooting. What was better about your team's defense in the second half?
You know, I thought we played really excellent defense for about 30 minutes of the game, 32 minutes. Some of what happened at the end was fatigue. You know, we didn't sub a lot. Our bench has to continue to develop. You know, Brandon Randolph came in the game at the end, and, you know, you're not going to notice him as much on the stat line. But, man, it doesn't get any bigger for him to check in when he checked in the last 4 minutes, guard who he was supposed to guard, take care of the ball, go to the line, and make a couple free throws at the end. Did a really good job. But we need to keep developing our bench, because when you don't sub, what starts to happen is you see that at the end of games, guys are turning it over. And, you know, I thought our defense wore down a little bit, but our game plan and what we tried to do defensively was intact for a big portion of the game. And I'll tell you, they're very difficult to defend. You know, Trey Holder, I don't know if I have seen a guard who gets to the free throw line better. 16 free throws. He has a knack of getting fouled, and he does a great job of getting those guys to call the foul too.
At the same time, was one of the keys for your team tonight to force those guys to drive with the ball and not foul as much as possible.
Really to defend the three-point line. You know, some of the turnovers that they had were maybe a function of our good defense as opposed to them being careless. And, you know, trying not to give them those, you know, they get in there and it's a quick pass out, it's a one more pass, it's a second one more pass, and they're such a great shooting team that they really make you pay. So very few times did they get in there and get the kick out threes. Instead, they either got fouled or had to make a tough shot. The other thing that happened to us is we got crushed on the glass in the second half. I mean, their hustle and their will of getting second shots kept them in the game. And, again, it's good that we can learn from that with a win as opposed to learning the hard way.
I'll leave you with this. 18 assists for your team tonight. The most since really the first couple of ball games of the season. Maybe you can just address the ability to share the ball, to look for the open man tonight, and how important was that in shooting the ball as well as you did, again, particularly in the second half.
We can move the ball better. We can share the ball better. And, you know, Arizona State has a tremendous quickness. You know, one of the things that's different about their team is, you know, Mickey Mitchell, he hasn't played the entire season. So with him in the minutes that he plays, it gives them a physical presence that maybe they didn't have in the month of November. He played 30 minutes tonight. So they have the ability between Mickey Mitchell, Romello White, and Daquan Lake of playing big. You know, Scheibel comes in and he can shoot the ball. So their size and their physicality is different right now than maybe it was through a big part of their non-conference schedule. And again, we beat a really good team tonight. There's nothing, as much respect as Arizona State has been given, it's all hard earned because they're a very good basketball team. And for us to beat that team, it says a lot about our ability.
Absolutely. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Head coach Sean Miller here courtside at McHale Center, where the Wildcats beat the Sun Devils 84-78. Next up for the Cats, the trip to Salt Lake City on Thursday night to take on the Utah Utes.